Hello networkers, and welcome back to another episode of Ask the Network Engineer, where I will answer one of your questions. And this question comes from Christoph Beck, and he asks, please go over those books in your bookcase behind you. Okay, let's do that. This should be a pretty fun one. So most of the books on my bookshelf, as you can tell, are network technology books. Now the thing is, most of these books are out of date, they're older books, but I still reference them a lot, especially for routing, switching technologies, multicast IPv6, even some VPN security technologies. Those are still relevant and used today. All the newer stuff is really available online on the internet. So I really have stopped buying textbooks and just use resources online. Times have changed. A long time ago, the internet didn't have those kind of resources, and these books were fantastic for engineers to get a better understanding of things. So I should get rid of some of these books, but I still use these books a lot. So that's why they're still on my bookshelf. But you'll also see other books that are based on my other interests besides network technologies. I am a big fan of astronomy ever since I was a kid. So there are a lot of books based on astronomy, astrophysics, science. I'm also have big interest in history. I'm a history buff. So you see a lot of books based on that. So with that being said, I'm going to change the camera and I'm going to just go through, just go down each row and just show you what books are on my bookshelf. So let's get started. Okay, so let's get started, and let's go with the top shelf of my bookshelf. I got a lot of miscellaneous things on here, so let me get rid of it. These are certain things I got from particular conferences. When you're a network engineer, you go to conferences, you get these little gadgets. So, different things like that. Get rid of that. Log me in. My car is a Mini, so I got this when I got my car. So that's pretty much is a 1 gig USB flash drive. My kids and I would do perler beads, so if you don't recognize the character, it's a Nintendo character Link. So I have it up here. Remember, I like astronomy, so this is my favorite planet, Uranus. That's the correct pronunciation, not Uranus. That's not the right way to say it. So my wife gave this to me a long time ago. Okay, and this is an outstanding team award that I got from Cisco back in 1998. That's a long time ago, but it was, very cool. Something that I still kind of remember the days at Cisco. And some other gadget as well. Okay, let's get down to what the context of this video is all about. So again, most of these are much older books, and the first one is a Cisco Security Internet's Security Solution book. I'm not really sure what this book's really about. I think it's just very basics of security. Security technologies and protocols, IDS. So this is sometimes I may reference security related, but really I like to reference my CCIE security book. I did attempt this security exam a long time ago for the lab. Did not pass it. So, but this is something that I still use a lot for referencing a lot of details. Now there's some stuff in here about configuring Cisco IPS, and that's not something that is typically used anymore, so I don't really do that too much. But anything security related, I tend to still reference that. And this is another CCIE security book based on more practical labs. This is another book focused on AAA services, and if you're not familiar with that, that is for authentication, authorization, and accounting. This is something that I did a lot for the government networks. We had a lot of different type of policies, so this is something that I used back then. Not anymore, but something that I used a long time ago. This book here is basically, as a network engineer, this is the best TCP/IP book that is out there. This is really a fantastic book, and I can't say anything more than that. This is really the book that every network person needs to have on their bookshelf. So please keep that, just write that down on your list. That's a very good book. The next book is Optimizing Applications. This is related with QoS. It's an okay book. Gives me a good different understandings of QoS and different categories of applications and how they can be used with QoS. So, I use this from time to time, not a lot. But this one, end-to-end QoS network design, this is where I really mastered QoS. It is this book right here. So this should be another book, just like this one over here, that should be on your bookshelf or in your possession. This one here is Cisco IP telephony. This is about basically designing, planning, and some configuration aspects of Cisco Unified Communication Manager or Call Manager a long time ago. So this was also a pretty good book as well for some of the basics and some of the design best practices right there. This is another IP telephony book. This is okay. I actually prefer this one, but I got this one first. But again, I recommend this one. This one, I think I brought up before in another video or episode, but this is my personal best BGP configuration book. This is another must-have on your bookshelf. I mastered BGP because of this nice little tiny book. Great kind of references, great, it gets right to the point on configuration. I simply love this book. I use this book constantly. And of course we have the routing TCP IP books, which I mentioned also in other episodes. That's part 1 and part 2. These are, again, these are must-haves. If you don't have these books, then put it on your list and get these books. This really covers everything for the routing infrastructures that are important. BGP, OSPF, multicast, everything are in these books. And they're good for CCIE level, which is what they're intended for, CCIE, but also for practical cases. So I love these books, and these I definitely reference a lot. Also got this IPv6 book, and this is okay, it's good. There's also IPv6 within, I think it's volume 2 here. But this is a good companion as well. Now this is a legacy book, the Cisco LAN switching. But this I still reference, and it is this very book that made me master LAN switching. So I am never going to get rid of this book here. It is a fantastic book. Fantastic book. I love this book. This is a good complement book. It's a book I got obviously many years ago, and I may reference it from time to time, but of course this is still my favorite. And I have other CCIE related books. This is for practical studies, probably like labs and such. Keep in mind that these CCIE books that you see up here, I did not use these when I actually passed my CCIE back in 2001. I bought them after the fact because I love the resources that was available in them. And there is a Cisco Wireless LAN Security book. This is okay. I reference it probably once in a while, so I don't really recommend it too much. And now we get down, I'll skip these for right now. This is a Cisco product quick reference guide. I got this long time ago as a gift. This stuff is available online, so don't buy things like this. Cisco updates their hardware, their equipment all the time, and this you can pay for from the Cisco marketplace. Don't waste your money on that. All that is online and should always be used as an online resource. So don't buy this kind of stuff. I don't even use this anymore. That one can actually go away, but I'll deal with that later. We even have some, very much an older CCNA book that I have here, and this is okay. The CCNA has changed drastically over the years, so I can't say much about whether it's recommended or not. But the next book I can. This is the very first book that I got that was focused on learning about OSPF. I simply adore this book as well. This is another book that I love, and I still reference it a lot. Now, this is an older book, so I don't recommend this book because, again, use these books right here, Routing TCP/IP for anything routing. So I recommend this over this book. This is a much older book. Get these, but again, I'm giving you some reference here. This is the book I really enjoy. Okay, and the book at the far end over there is, oh, I hated this book. This book can actually probably go in a very dark place. Also, my bookshelf this is the very first edition of one of the very first book that I have published. It's the Network Design Cookbook. It's actually on sale on our website. And this book took me 10 years to write. And it took me like 5 years I keep it updated. It is a very personal project for me. Every month is a new update, whether I'm correcting grammar errors that I see, because sometimes I go back and I go, oh, there's an error there. Let me correct that. Or adding in new technologies, removing older stuff. So this is a very important thing to me, and it took me a long time to do it. And publishing a book is a big deal because it's something that I always wanted to do. I love networking, so I wanted to publish a networking book. So, this is something. So this is basically the very, very first copy that I got. And of course, it has evolved with newer stuff. So that's basically what my first bookshelf, or the first shelf, looks like with the books that I have. Okay, so we'll get to the second shelf, and we're going to go through this pretty quickly because only some of this is network technologies. A lot of it is the interest that I talked about. So this is a picture book of the Da Vinci Code. I like the book a lot. High school yearbook, nothing fun about that. Again, books about astronomy. This is actually more like books that I kind of teach my kids. My kids like astronomy as well. There's another astronomy book, space. Einstein is someone I really look up to, so I have many books by Albert Einstein. So, universe book. This is a fantastic book on the universe for a lot of different areas. So if you like that kind of stuff, maybe you don't, but if you do, I definitely recommend this book here. And this is a book by Stephen Hawking, The Universe in a Nutshell, basically, or in other words, A Brief History of Time. This is actually a very good book by Stephen Hawking that I really enjoy. He also has a good TV segment about the same book, which I actually enjoy a lot. All right, moving on to what this video is really about. And this first book is what is this thing here? This is a Network Academy book. I actually kind of forgot about this book here. But this book I kind of use for people who are starting out in networking and have interest with networking. So like if I mentor people, I kind of tell them, hey, borrow this book here and kind of go through the chapters. But this is really outdated, so I don't really give people this book anymore. So moving on. The next one is Hacking Exposed, Network Security Secrets and Solutions. This one has been a recommendation that has been given to me many years ago, and this is another very important must-have on your shelf. This gives you a good foundation of security and how it can be and how things can be exploited and why security is important. Because for network engineers, yes, we deploy firewalls. We deploy firewalls and we do firewall policies, we do VPN, we do IPS, we do all kind of filtering. But why are we doing it though? How can we understand how do hacks actually happen? This book breaks it down so you understand how the hacking process works and why we are doing things like VPNs or other security components that some of my books mention. So this is a really, really good book. This is an older Cisco VPN book. It's okay. It's outdated, so I don't really use this anymore. This is another CCIE book. I think there were some particular subjects that I liked how it was presented, but I don't really use this a lot. I have a science book that I talked about before that I have interest in, a physics book. This is a MPLS VPN book. I do not like this book. So I already know what books to get rid of so far when I do my cleanup in the next few months. Another science, space-related books, chemistry, universe. I'm an amateur astronomer, so I do a lot of astrophotography, so I do a lot of that. And this right here is, oh my goodness, I do not like this book either. Well, I guess the truth is I'm not really a big fan of Cisco's wireless solution. This is stuff before the wireless controller. And so that means everything was really a standalone access point. You configure it, you put in SSID, you do VLAN mappings, and you're done. Great. Well, with the Cisco wireless controller and with any other vendor like Aruba, for example, everything is a centralized wireless solution. So for these books that I mentioned that I don't like that are wireless related, well, that's based on a standalone access point, and no one really has that anymore. What is this? Yeah, other science-related books. These are older Cisco Call Manager books. This is version 4.0, so I haven't touched these things actually in a couple of years, so that should be cleaned up as well. Another science book. Here is one of my older CCNP books. I'm not sure if I use this for my studying or not, but I like some of the, I guess, the details in it, so I think that's why I have kept it. The other books on my shelf, two more specifically, is I mentioned that I have published 3 books. One is the Network Design Cookbook that I covered on the first shelf. The second book that I published was a self-help book called Keep It Nice and Simple, and it's a very short paperback, like maybe how many pages? It says 72 pages, and it's about how to organize your life, organize your emails, organize the projects and the things that you want to accomplish. One thing about me is that, yes, I'm a network engineer, but my biggest attribute as a person is I believe in structure and I believe in organization. And I adapted that philosophy into my career, and it has helped a lot. I like to accomplish things and kind of staying focused and completing particular projects that I have interest in. So this book kind of really, laid it out for me to share my experiences of how people can be organized. So this one just took like a couple months to write. I was proud of this. Now, my third book that I published is an actual science fiction novel called The Dark End. I always wanted to write a novel ever since I was a kid. And I'm really proud about this because a lot of people talk about they want to write a book. I actually wrote a science fiction novel. And it took me 3 years to do it. I took my time, did one thing at a time. And this book, let me just read to you the synopsis here. I'm sure I can get it zoomed in on the camera. It is the year 2036. The asteroid Apophis has come and gone. The world is saved, but only for a brief time. Something deadlier is heading towards Earth. Michael Thompson and a small group of scientists must race against the clock to find a way to save mankind. They will be led into the darkness of space on a journey spanning thousands of years. What is heading to Earth? Will the result be a dark end for mankind? So, yeah, so you can check this out. I'll try to post links in the description, but you can get it as an ebook. It's on Amazon. It's pretty much everywhere out there. But I was really proud about this. It was painful to do. So, so be kind if you read it. But it was something that I'm also very proud of, and I wanted to share with you guys of the other interests in the things that I do. And last, this is the very last shelf that has books. This is nothing really, I'm going to kind of go through this pretty quickly, but there's books based on Native Americans, the Civil War, the war, which is based on the Second World War. This is a book I got from the Anne Frank House in Amsterdam. Very humbling experience, just to see that and understanding imagining that situation of what Anne Frank and her family been through during the Holocaust and hiding. Another astronomy book, and these are other books that I have for my kids that I teach my kids for the summer. Teaching them new math and new type of things, getting them exposure to the world around them. And we are finished. So thank you very much for the great question, Christoph. I hope that helped of seeing what I had on my bookshelf. And I want to hear from the rest of you guys. So post your questions below about anything in the networking field or being a network engineer in the comments below, and your question will come up in a future video. So thank you for watching this video. Please like this video. Please subscribe to our channel. That will mean a lot to us. And check out our training website at routehub.net and all the practical training that we have available. So again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.